Now you're going to be tempted, possibly tempted to hold out here, as this becomes the last or second to last spawn point, and people might use the doors. Those doors that you see up in front. Those doors don't stay, those are destructible doors. So eventually those are not going to help. Neither will that barricade in front. You don't really want to stay here, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to get yourselves bottled in like this, which is not good. What you want to do, oh god. What you want to do is run in here. You can go this way. You basically don't want to get trapped in that room, because in order to retake that spot, you need that room to be empty. So you need to exit this way, okay? Or you can go the other way, which is the tunnel, which I can't access right now, I think. Maybe I should try to help a little bit. Throw that javelin, kill him. Okay, so that was one way to go, the way I just showed you, but another way, which usually is better if you can, if this tunnel is not already infested with urukai, you can go all the way down here. Okay, and because your goal is not to be trapped in there, and there is no ammo in the tunnels, so if you're ranged or if you have javelins, you're not getting any ammo here. You have to make your way out in order to lure some of the urukai out of the salon, or at the very least separate them to relieve the pressure on the salon. See, which is being taken right now. You can see it on the upper right. We need to relieve pressure there, and to do that we need to drag urukai away, whether it be through these tunnels by kiting them as a team, or dragging them out like this. See, this one was tempted to go here because there's a human player such as me in this area, so we want to try to drag the urukai out of the salon, because we need to secure we need to retake and secure the Grand Salon in order to make sure we have spawns left for the rest of us. So, I was hoping to spawn in when it was a new match, but, so this typically what you're going to do is do your best to survive out here and, kill some orcs and, you know, lower their numbers, and ultimately try to relieve some of the pressure from the Grand Salon. I'm not a combat expert either, but you do want to make sure you are either good at if you're not good at range, just go ahead and train infantry. Infantry is an important class in the full invasion series overall, because you want to. Is this a bodyguard? No, it's a crossbowman. So these are, if you hold Alt, you can see the different objects, including healing soup, ammo, and anvils. Those are for your shields. Oh god, ow. Okay, the crossbows are quite dangerous. They are quite powerful. I'm gonna try not to get shot by them too much. Okay. So there's not much else I could do. I'm gonna see if I could. It's like my last resort here. Okay. Oh. I'm gonna try to push them off. Yeah, sometimes when I have no choice, and there's not many of us left, I bring some here, and maybe I can drag enough big of a group to have them fall off, or I can push them off, especially if they're pikemen. But it looks like we will not be able to recover from this round. So this is an example. If you can see, the salon is capped, right? So this is the reason why you don't want to be trapped here. You want to, as quickly as possible, drag the urukai away from the Grand Salon, especially if, you know, in this case, through the tunnels and out the way I came earlier, the way you saw me, so that we can evacuate the salon, and someone at some point, once this is clear, you know, with all of us running around outside, will sneak back in here. If this gate is still usable, we'll lock it, and then we'll recap. If it's not lockable anymore, we're just gonna have to hope enough of the Urukai are strewn about on the outside. So see, there's an example of basically how a typical loss occurs. Everything is capped and everyone's dead, right? So to avoid that, we're gonna, these are things that as you play Helm's Deep and similar mods, basically every map, the concept is to keep your points on your team, to make sure that you held every spawn point, that you should always have more spawn points than the enemy, so that you can also make sure that as you're defending, your teams can spawn into certain points and also spawn in quickly and not risk being spawned into a bunch of enemies. So let's try a new round. Again, none of this is scripted. I'm just trying to show, as from my experience from playing other full invasion games and Mountain Blade in general, from my perspective, and this is my advice. So I'm gonna go ahead, basic infantry. You start off with these as your basic weapons. My ping is high, so I do like fast weapons. One-handed weapons, there are some longer ones available later, they're a little slower. Shields are good for buying time and shield bashing, but otherwise, to get to heavy infantry, I need to level up my one-handed and my polearm. You can go the route of wearing less armor, so you're a little bit faster, but in a map like this where you're so, it's not a huge map, it's not really worth it to be able to be super fast unless you're an archer, which is why you might see a lot of naked archers. But as infantry, speed is good, but sometimes you want that extra piece of defense so that you can hold out a little bit longer and buy time for your teammates and help hold back the orc or Urukai tides. So here we go. We have a bunch of points that are ours. On this map, at this time anyway, the Isengard camp cannot be captured, so it's always going to be like that. It's going to be red. But we have a bunch of blue spawn points. You see that on the top? And we have a full wave meter, meaning the entire Urukai army is still out there in the walls, in front of the walls of Helm's Deep. They're going to start climbing these ladders, and they're gonna be knocking on this wall down here with their weapons. In the movie, yeah, it explodes. They have a kamikaze bomber. Here they just keep hitting it, and eventually it creates a huge it destroys a section of the wall where they can start running in, and it cuts you off from the Muro Distante spawn point, and you can't really recapture that anymore. So it's kind of difficult, at least in the current build of the map, to prevent this wall destruction, because you get overwhelmed and you get distracted from killing all of the orcs that are down there. Urukai, sorry. Another thing to know is I'm zooming in by holding shift. You can see that it says there's summoner. Those are called named enemies, and sometimes they're bosses. They're either called summoners or they have an actual name, and they're either a mini boss such as those summoners, or they are actual bosses, which you want to kill first, because whether they are summoners or named bosses, at least in the current build, if you don't kill them, they'll keep spawning enemy troops and more Urukai, right? Which is very bad, because again, you're very limited in space on this map. So you want to kill them first, and the bosses themselves and the summoners, once you kill them, they do spawn more, especially the bosses. They will spawn several Urukai, but they're typically weaker than the average Urukai. So there's maybe a lot, but not as hard to kill if you're coordinated. So you have the typical strategy of most players in Helm's Deep. They have the ranged units kind of on the top, on the sides, killing the Urukai, and a lot of the infantry here just trying to hold the walls, and some ranged as well to help take down some of the units climbing up. I don't know if I'll do another video on weapon build out. Everyone has a different opinion on that, but I typically want to start by leveling up polearm, only because to me it's a little harder. It's a longer weapon. You want to get it out of the way sooner rather than later, so I kind of just try to get out of the way. Because I need to reach, I believe, polearm 10 to take care of the polearm requirement to reach the heavy infantry class. And it's pretty powerful, actually, the long pike, but of course the weakness is the length as well, because once they're up close, it becomes a very awkward weapon, both for humans and Uruk-hai. And you'll see as you play this game that it is awkward for Uruk-hai to be fighting with the pikes. They're pretty awkward in close quarter combat, and you can take advantage of that. So here, they're still climbing up the ladders. I want to control the ladders. I'm going to show the tunnels again once I die, probably. But here's an example of, again, early game, trying to control this wall. You want to hold this wall as long as you can. Especially right now we have 16 players. It's doable. We've won rounds before with just like 12 to 15 players. But it's because everyone progresses the tree of their class, such as infantry and ranged. No one really does cavalry for that long. The current build in the current game, it's there's not much advantage to cavalry. There doesn't seem to be a very good charge bonus, and again, you're limited on space except for down there. You can kind of kite some orcs, but you know, once they bring out their crossbows, it's kind of game over for cav, and once you get overwhelmed by enemy units, that's it. And they're just gonna flood into the main citadel, you know, up there. So I apologize if my explanations are not very clear. Hopefully just by watching you kind of get, you know, an idea of how the flow goes. But I think it's pretty understood now, you know, about this, the deeping wall of how things go here. When you start out, you see that door up there. This door up here, it's usually closed. Different players have different opinions about keeping this door open or closed. And you can only open this or close it from the inside. So if you get trapped here with a bunch of orcs, Uruk-hai, then you can either just go down and try to kite them, fight them, or you can, if you're desperate, can't go anywhere, you can come up here, crouch, either use your shield, which will break, or you can block with your pole, or whatever weapon you have, block up. And unless you're against pikes, then you should be okay. Most of them in this corner, in most corners in general, they will use up attacks, meaning you want to do up blocking. And of course, if you're new to Mountain Blade, there's left block, right block, center. You block, you know, an attack coming to your center, or overhead attacks. You can block this way. And so if you're in a corner, typically, which is a common survival tactic, I'm not super skilled, so I'll need to do this to also buy time for my comrades to spawn in or whatnot, or to hold the Uruk-hai here while the ranged or whoever is up there can take them out with rocks or arrows. So that's what happens, especially if that door is closed. But even if it's open, you can still buy time for some of your team and hold some of the Uruk-hai here to buy some time. The other option, of course, like I said, is you can go down there and kite some of the Uruk-hai around, especially if there's no crossbowmen that are shooting at you. You can also go that way. You see those stairs? You can go up there. That will lead actually all the way up to the keep. I forgot the technical term, but it's basically the most top level, which I'm going to show. Well, can't show you because someone closed the door. I'll just go ahead and show you that way right now. So they're doing a pretty good job so far. We're early in the game and they're holding the deeping wall. And we got some... You want to be familiar also with player names, because you want to kind of know, you know, strategically, if there are players that, you know, they know what they're doing, and if there are a bunch of new players, perhaps you might need to adjust your strategy, and you might need to give some tips. Don't be like, bossy in the chat, but just some friendly tips about where to go, what to do, just now and then. I think it would help new players, especially if they're too shy to ask. So again, I forgot to mention, there, and you probably noticed this, there's not a lot of healing soup, which I just call it soup, on the map. There's a few dotted here and there, but they're very strategic, so keep that in mind, whatever your strategies are. And ammo, right, for ranged units, or melee if you're using javelins, they're not everywhere either, so just be aware of that, your ranged economy. So here we go. So I just showed you coming up those stairs. Urukai can follow you here, so just be aware of that. Try not to bring any with you, okay? So if you don't have to, I won't even go this way, okay, to reach the top. But see, I'm going up here. See, all of a sudden you're at the very top of the keep, okay? And this is bad if Urukai follow you, because they're behind your friendlies now. They're behind your lines, where they can just attack you from both ways now, from over there, from those ladders, from the deeping wall breaches, and now from here. So just be careful of that. It happens. If you notice they're behind you, it's probably because they were chasing a player somewhere around those stairs that I showed you, and they just went up there. So that happens. See, if that happens, there's during a point where we've lost a lot of our spawn points, that could be bad, because Urukai might already be coming from this direction, coming this way, and they're going to bottle everyone up in the Grand Salon and in the Bastion over there. Another thing I want to show you, again, some common points that people hold are corners like over here, because you can see it's pretty tight, so even if they try to hit you, let's say like this, it's usually too awkward for them because there's too many Urukai squeezed together, and they can't really hit from the right because of this wall. So players go here and they block up, they crouch and block up. It doesn't work for long. They eventually will kill you there, but it buys time for our friendlies who are on the those parts of the wall, hopefully, to take down or throw rocks or shoot arrows at those Urukai. Okay, and we have this point over here. This is what would be the Bastion. Down there, you can see it labeled when you hold Alt. That is the Patio Principal. And outside there, I'll show you later, is the Atalaya. But here, I want to start from the inside, because this could be where the chaos happens. This is the Bastion. This area right here, going inside, right? If you turn on the spawn point, if you spawn in the Bastion, you'll spawn inside of there normally. If you spawn Grand Salon, it will be in the tunnel, which I showed in the very beginning of this recording, unless I split up the video. That would be where you spawn in for Grand Salon. If you spawn in the Bastion, you'll spawn inside this room, okay, which I can't open. It has to open from the inside. And this out here is the Patio Principal, okay? So in order to keep the Bastion locked, what some players do is they come over here, okay, and they up block, right? You eventually will die here, but you can usually hold out for a good while unless there's a bunch of pikes that are poking you like this, and you have a bunch of weapons coming at you. But holding this is important, because another aspect about full invasion, like I said, regards to spawn points. See those words that say, you see active and locked? You want to keep a spawn point locked, meaning if the Urukai are in here, and hopefully there will be an example at some point, and they've gotten to the point where Bastion is all the way down, there's no blue, right? Because there's segments that occur. There's right now it's blue. See, look at our spawn points. It'll turn transparent when there's enemies that are taking it, right? That's basically lowering your flag. You see that flag? There's a point where they're lowering that flag, and that's when those boxes up there are blank. They're transparent, and it slowly can turn red and the red flag starts to be raised up on the pole. That's them capturing the flag, capturing the spawn point. So to keep a point locked, you should have your team present somewhere such as over here. If we're trying to keep the bastion locked, you want to have someone somewhere around here alive and blocking, just alive in here in general, to count as blocking, so that even though the Urukai have lowered our flag, our blue flag, they cannot raise their red flag until the entire bastion area is clear of their enemy, which is us. Same token, of course, when we're trying to recapture a point, we can't raise our own flag until every enemy Urukai in the area of that spawn point is eliminated or gone. I hope that makes sense. It makes more sense when you experience it, so it's kind of hard to explain it. But I just wanted to show that that's a critical point up there, is the bastion. You want, as much as possible, not be forced to be fighting over the bastion and the Grand Salon for long, because they're just going to keep spawning, and you're going to get bosses that are going to be staying alive longer and longer, and they're going to be producing more and more Urukai clone babies. Okay, so that's just the natural occurrence. Like, unless there's a coordinated team that's constantly trying to take out bosses, that's just what's going to happen. And you'll see later on in the game, usually, especially once this gate gets, the main gate gets broken down, more Urukai come out, and again, they can clog up this area, and yeah, provide more obstacles for you. So I think that's the basic thing. I wanted to show you, for example, the path of an Urukai or human that's retreating. Because again, you would have seen at the beginning of the video, I exited from the Grand Salon up there, and I exited this tunnel. This is very crucial. Never forget that there is this tunnel that you can either enter or exit from to get out or get into the main keep of Helm's Deep. I think in the film and in the novel, this is where supposedly maybe the wives, the women and children were hidden. But so take note of this video of what I'm showing you here, because just know that this part of the tunnel is a dead end. There's nothing there, at least right now. So don't be trapped in there. This is the way towards the keep. If you're exiting the keep, don't go there. There's nothing. Go this way to exit. Okay. Okay, so this way, in the current build of this game, if you're being chased by Urukai down on this path, they typically will stop chasing you, I think around here. Yeah, they'll probably usually stay right here for some reason, unless you get closer and they start chasing you again. So just keep that in mind. The current build, the Urukai, they usually stop chasing you around this part of the hallway, and they either stand still or they run back. If they stand still, feel free to go back and, shoot them or kill them. But it depends what your battle status is. If you're ready, if you're just kiting enemies, or if you're trying to get up here to heal or go to the workbench. So as you can see, you've noticed there's no other turns for a long time. You're gonna keep following this way back up, and you're going towards the Grand Salon. So see this point right here? When you spawn in, see in the far right, it says Grand Salon. That spawn point, you're going to spawn in here. This hallway. Keep that in mind. Sometimes when you spawn in, there's already Urukai all bunched up in here and killing other Rohirrim and your fellow man in here. So if you spawn in here, just be ready to block or something, because it's going to be chaos. Okay? Keep that in mind. Wherever you're spawning in, just be aware of your surroundings and know the spot you're spawning into, what the conditions like. Okay, so that's Grand Salon spawn, or in there. If you spawn Bastion, meaning it's available, you will spawn here. Okay, this is the Bastion. There's a workbench and there's soup right there. See, I hold Alt, you'll be able to see the symbol is a heart symbol. I'm holding Alt still. You can see all of our points. You can see ammo. You can see other soups which have the heart symbol. Okay. If you're here, the barricade is still up. That's good. It's not very strong. So if you're counting on this barricade to defend you and to hold back the Urukai, you are in for a world of hurt, because this right here, these pile of sticks, this is what breaks. And they come through and they kill us. So you can go on this cart a little bit. You can kill them from here, shoot them, and they could still slash you if you're close enough. But this is a pretty good position if you have to. But again, when possible, don't hold here. Unless you got like what, like 100 players here. But even then, because of a limited amount of space, you're limited on combat. I don't know why this is closed. This should be open for most of the game and only used if you absolutely need it, especially when you're trying to recap that point. If you're the only one alive, or if everyone else is dealing with orcs, it's up to you to, retake this point. Let's say that flag is red. If you're gonna retake that point, well, you're gonna run in here, okay? You're gonna get close to the door. I don't know. Sometimes there's a sweet spot there. See? Then you're gonna go in. You're gonna close it. You're gonna run in. Usually that barricade is destroyed, but if it's not, you can go here, right? You're gonna recap that point, okay? You're gonna be goated because you open the spawn point for everyone else who's dead to come back into the game. Okay, so keep in mind that's why some people in the chat are gonna be saying stuff like, cap, recap, or kite, because they want you to help, to assist in emptying out the Grand Salon. So that it can be recapped. That means it's getting desperate. Most of your points are gone. If you look up there, that means Muro Exterior is gone, Atalaya is gone, Patio Principal and Bastion, those are all red. And even Grand Salon is red. If that's all red, there's no spawn points. You're not coming back into the game until you retake the Grand Salon, okay? Because again, you have to work your way backwards when you're recapping a spot. Okay. I wish I had spent the time leveling up my skills, but I wanted to, at one point, make a video like this. Here's a sneak peek at the main gate. In the film, this is where, they charge down Theoden and his crew, where they leave everyone else to die. So you can have archers posted here, or you can pick up stones. Stones are great in this build because they kill pretty instantly. They can damage bosses. You don't get any skill, but you get the kill, I think, but you don't get skill points for doing this. So, just use this wisely. If you're desperate enough and you know that like 3 or 4 of you can't hold them back with just some arrows, then you gotta work together to constantly throw rocks, which slowly respawn. They do run out, but they respawn slowly. I usually get javelins as well. I don't know, maybe I already used them, but because you will need that depending what hero class you want to get, if you are trying to get a hero class. And it makes it easier. The hero class does make things a lot easier. So see, it's good to keep that actually open. You don't want to close it unless you're extremely desperate, especially later in the game. In my opinion, the best strategy is to save your barricades and doors for near the end, for when things are so desperate, where you want that backup plan to be there. And early on in the game, in my opinion, normally it's not so hard to kill them all, or at the very least start to separate the Urukai in different directions and kill them off piece by piece, like the old military tactic goes, is to divide and conquer. You separate the enemy by leading them through different paths, and then you kill him. So, but otherwise, this is what happens, and it looks like the boss was killed, so you see a bunch of Urukai in there, because when you kill a boss, a bunch of baby orcs get spawned. Urukai can sometimes come from these ladders as well, so keep that in mind. Usually it will say they Urukai are spawning near Atalaya on the top left of your screen, and that usually does mean they're gonna spawn down there and climb up the ladders. They don't have any other access to the rest of the wall along here, only the main gate, and that's what they're gonna target to break as well. They can enter through the main gate once they break it. They can enter by climbing these ladders. A little tip about these ladders. In the current build, and they might fix this, is that from here you can actually jump down and get on the ladder. Okay, and don't go down, because I think if you go all the way down you're gonna die. But the reason why I mentioned this is because Um, in the current build, yes, you can get on the ladder. You can still attack, right? Even you can even use polearm, and you can even use your bow. Okay, but of course, if you run out of arrows, you're not going to be able to use it. But another thing that happens normally when Urukai are around here and you're on the ladder, they usually freeze. They usually don't do anything. So just know that in the current build, as the date of this video will show. Okay, there, look, Urukai are attacking near Atalaya. So yeah, see? They're going to be coming up these ladders. Look, they went up that tunnel down there, okay? So that's what I mentioned earlier. I'm not sure why or how that happened, but it does happen. So, see, they came up those stairs, they went up and they climbed, and they ended up there, which is the patio principal and approaching the bastion. So, again, at least they started to separate here. Want to defend your walls as best you can. If you have time, you can throw rocks at the orcs, but so I am kind of a little congested. Use these to your advantage. You can jump off of this. See? Use the terrain as much as possible. Oh, okay, but be smart. But where you go, you can jump down. Just be mindful of your health. Okay, jump down strategically. Know where your healing spots are. See, there's soup here, ammo there. You can continue to kite the bosses as necessary. My kamikaze strategy is to go through here, which is I call the Gimli pathway, because it's where you toss them in the movie. And go here. I don't know what his plan is, but try to push him off, and I fell off this time. But the idea is to stay up there, and you can either jump across this way, or try to hold him up here and push him off the ledge, either by shield or weapon bashing, or if you're a two-person team, you can have two shields up there, and a lot of Urukai end up just falling off and dying. Sometimes I like to lead the boss here, with whoever the boss is, boss or summoners, and I have them fall off so they instantly die. That gets rid of the main problem in that wave. So if you could do that, it does help the team a great deal. Helps make the game also a little more fun for new players, because they get a little less stressed out with the impending doom and, you know, just constant dying and losing, you know, until they start to until we and ourselves as players and as new players start to get more used to the game and more comfortable. So I don't know if there's much else to say. There's a spawn timer. A little information too is that usually you can instantly spawn back in once the enemy takes a spawn. So just know that's why sometimes you don't wait a very long time, or there's no timer, because once the enemy takes a spot, usually it means you're allowed one free instant spawn in any available spawn that your team holds. So in this case, that didn't happen. So I am going to just spawn in regular. After the timer, I'm going to spawn in Atalaya, which will make me spawn usually in this wall over here. Yeah. Oh no, not that. Oh yeah, this Atalaya wall. When you choose Atalaya, you'll spawn here, but the Atalaya spawn flag is this one right there. That's the Atalaya spawn. Okay. If you spawn back in though, you'll spawn here. If you choose Atalaya. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Atalaya or Atalia. I don't know. If I can think of anything else, I will just mention it in the video. When it comes to shield enemies, I never like them. unless I have a two-handed axe maybe, but oh, I couldn't eat. He killed me before I could eat. But again, you're gonna need one hand and polearm if you want to get to heavy infantry. If you can see here, again, you're not going to be able to get to this point. It's going to be red. You can't choose that class until you have, if you see, you can look right there below. It says it in red. Requires 12 one-handed, requires 10 polearms. So how do you get that? Well, when you're in the recruit class, whether you're ranged or infantry, whatever it be, you need to have a weapon that qualifies as a one-hand or a polearm. Infantry, run infantry has access to both types of weapons and have a little better skill points in one-handed and polearms than range does. You see, if you look at the two. But of course, range is very nice to do, especially I think if you're a beginner, because it gets you used to the controls, and also you get kind of used to where to aim and where the weak spots of enemies are, and which will vary depending if you're playing vanilla or playing Helms Deep. So back to infantry. Normally I would have progressed a lot more by now, but I've just been kind of busy, making this little informational video. Again, there's lots of rocks around the map that you can use, and if you get hit by anything, whether it be a melee weapon or an arrow or something, you're going to end up dropping this rock, so be aware of that. You can't just carry it all around and not think you won't drop it. You might drop it if you get hit. Okay, so anyway, I'm not going to actually use it. Just throw it away. Okay, so what else? Okay, another holding point that some people hold is here. If you up block here, sometimes the Urukai are able to slide you around and kind of move you this way while they're crowding in, and that's probably how they'll kill you. But some people do use this point here as a place to block. You can do that. Really, any corner that you can find normally is fine. But there are some key ones, especially if you can find a spot that will help lock a spawn so that they can't cap it. And capping means basically taking the point, lowering the flag and raising their own flag. That's called capping. So, okay, we've got some more Urukai here. Shields are, you can break their shields if you keep hitting it. You can also time it so you just hit their flesh or armor. See? Just broke his shield. Okay, he's dead. They have very deadly attacks, so just be aware of that they're very powerful. These are called berserkers, who have powerful two-handed weapons. They're quite fast, quite powerful, but they're pretty weak. As you can see, they don't really have any armor. Okay, so see, they're quite fast, much faster than infantry. If I had some more javelins on me, I'd run and turn around and throw some at them. Usually you might end up coming here with some teammates just falling back. You can cover each other. That guy might die, yeah. Then do a very good job of supporting him. And he just blocked that, or he chambered it, whatever. I could switch to my one-handed, and when you're close quarters like this, it could be an advantage to use corners like that, because they can't swing that as much here. Oh god! Well, ideally, I mean, at close quarters like this, they have limited swinging, just like we do, so. But you saw that what you can do is use corners to your advantage. When they're approaching, you can hit them like that, like that. If you're in this corner, hit them like this. You can do that with a pillar. It's a little risky in doorways because you might just hit the other part of the door. But just know that in general, treat this as real combat, man. You know, use whatever tactic you can. These are ruthless creatures they have no other business here except to kill you and maim and mutilate you. So use whatever tactic you can to defeat these Urukai and make time for your people and your king to survive, okay? So use corners, do whatever you need to. There's no such thing as cheap tactics. Whatever, you just do whatever you can. Okay, so this door looks like it's been broken down, so that's why we have some enemies coming here. And oh no, it's still good. It's just I think it's open. Not sure. Let's see if I can get some of them to come this way. Normally their pathing is set. Oh, lag spike. Careful with lag spikes. When you experience a lag spike, generally you don't want to hold down W because you might end up going really far forward. And you'll know what I mean when it happens to you. You might fall off the ledge during a lag spike. Okay, I'm going to try to use this to my advantage. Narrow pathway. Okay, it was just one. Let's see if there's a shield guy. No, it's a berserker. Good thing about berserkers, they have no armor, but they can still block, especially up attacks, because they might chamber. Okay, there's another berserker. Okay, you can use this to practice your pole arms too. You don't have to worry about being flanked from the back unless they're a crossbowman who could easily snipe you and kill you from there. Okay, looks like there's no one really here. Looks like they haven't made up their mind. Who's still alive? Okay, well, we've lost a lot of our points. Once you get a Legolas hero, that helps because their high-level arrows can go through enemy line. Can go through enemies. Okay, so I'm getting overwhelmed here. I'm gonna start blocking, and well, and I'm dead. But if you have strong enough armor or really good blocking skills, you can stay there, and you can bash them off. You know, you can bash them off so they fall over. Some of them will fall over naturally. See, they'll just fall over naturally trying to navigate this path. And I don't consider that an exploit because this is a naturally risky area to be, no matter human or Urukai. So I hope the devs do not do anything, about this. I think that's a natural danger for both humans and Urukai. It's why it's, so narrow. If this was easy to navigate, it wouldn't be realistic enough. So, okay, and that goes right in hand with, again, taking advantage of the ground, taking advantage of your terrain, taking advantage of any small thing, corners, even poles. You can use poles to your advantage in combat. If you make them chase you around, go in one position, swing at them, you'll figure out your own niche and how you like to do your combat, especially if you're thinking of going melee, which is a crucial part of the team, especially in Helm's Deep. Every class is important, ranged and melee, but you need to have both. You can't just have all one. You're gonna need support from both sides to win. I haven't really seen a win where it was just all ranged or all melee. You need both. Okay, so I'm gonna equip some javelins. See, Grand Salon. Where'd I spawn? Right over here. We're in this position where we only have one. See, Bastion's blocked, so someone must be out there blocking or running around in the Bastion out there. Once we lose Bastion, we cannot spawn in this room. You're gonna end up spawning over there. See, for me, I had to spawn in Grand Salon because we don't actually own the Bastion anymore. Okay, so here it is. You do not want to get stuck in combat here unless there's only a couple Urukai where you can overwhelm them. For me, I just never fight there. I do not like fighting in there. You don't want to be in a corner blocking there either because you're just going to keep orcs in there. Urukai, I mean. If you keep enemies in there, you'll never be able to retake it, okay? So that's why when I spawn in and we're in positions like this, I either go this way, okay? I go this way. This is one way. And you can outflank the enemy by jumping down there, okay? Going down those steps, you're going to end up in the patio principal and right outside the gate, okay? But if possible, it's better to exit the tunnels fully to where the Azalea is, okay? And this also helps you get used to the map and understand the flow of the game, especially when you want to, you know, not just kill Urukai, but also get a sense of like winning strategy and, you know, tactics. Okay, for me, I don't take it so seriously. I find this relaxing, but at the same time, I don't want to die the same way all the time. So take advantage of the map. See, exit the tunnel. You're in the Atalaya, and usually this place still will be swarming with Urukai, but it probably won't be as bad as being stuck in the Grand Salon. Okay, so I exited. I can drag enemies. Usually we dedicate a team that stays here to hold this group of Urukai back, or at least slow them down. Just deny the enemy their reinforcements. When you're up against pikes, it's good to fight them like literally close quarters, like in their face, because it's awkward for them to fight with those long pikes. I don't know if I could do an example. I mean, it's not easy still, but you know, so as you can see, it's you can kind of run past their attacks because of their speed, and they're not swinging at you in two directions. See, but there's a couple that have a sword, so yeah, you can get bogged down. But my point is, when you're facing up against pikes, you can get in there. You can get into the up close and personal without worrying too much about being hit, you know, 20 times a second, because it takes them a while to raise that pike up or to charge it. See the way they're holding it up like that? It takes them a while, and while they're doing that, they're pretty vulnerable. So you're just slashing at their abdomens or bashing their heads in with whatever weapon you got. One-handed is good because it's fast, but two-handed is good too because of the reach. So just know that when you're up against pikes, don't be intimidated by the pikes. Be more intimidated by the shielded enemies and the bosses. Whoever has a one-handed weapon, or, you know, two-handed like these berserkers, they will swing fast. They will kill. Right? You gotta be careful. It's ideal to take on those enemies with a friend. Okay? Especially because they have the advantage of speed. Certainly you could take one down yourself, but if there's two of you, why not get the job done faster, right? Move on to the next enemy. So know your enemy types, know your limits and what your class is. If you're heavy infantry versus just recruit infantry, there are different things you should keep in mind. So know your skill points and all that. I think that's really all that I can say. Most of it you're just going to find out on your own by playing the game. But hopefully by doing this video, which I don't even know how long it will be at this point, it will help. I probably left out a lot of stuff. Feel free to post any questions you have in the comment section, or join the Discord, and you can ask your questions there. For the Full Invasion 3, Vanilla has their own Discord, and this Lord of the Rings Helm's Deep has its own Discord as well. Oh yeah, remember you want to fight these guys. A little faster weapons. Okay. Okay, have any questions? Another example again of just using your terrain. If you find yourself being stressed out here, you can always jump down there, okay? If it seems there's no way out. So if no questions, you know, feel free to join the Discord, or just join the game. Ask your questions here. Okay, there's a boss there. See, look, he has that special headpiece, and he's a summoner. Okay, which, you know, he's like I still call him a boss. He's a named enemy. Okay. Take advantage. Slow attacks. One-handed weapon, where is it? Okay. Run in there, run in. Okay, up block, down block. That's the only direction they can hit. If they have pole arm, run around, make it harder for them. Okay, there's a one-handed guy. There's a one-handed guy. Change strategy. Change strategy. Jump. Take out some ranged weapon you got if you have any. See, when you go this way, see, it's another thing you're gonna get used to when you play. They're gonna just lose aggro. They're gonna go that way. Okay, but you go back up a little bit, the aggro will get, you'll get that aggro back. Okay. I fear pikemen. To me, I fear them the least. I rather fight a bunch of pikemen. So priority targets are normally anything that are not pikemen for me, because pikemen, any of us could kill them pretty easily. So, and I should also stress the fact that javelins and any throwing weapons so far in this game are very good. And a good way to balance if you're a melee player. You can still have your fun with ranged, with throwing javelins. They're quite deadly. You just can't have as many per quiver. Another thing about this game is you probably, if you're not careful, get a bladder infection because you have to go to the bathroom, but you're so drawn into the game, especially when it's desperate. So it's another little fun fact. And that's about it. Hopefully, with everything put together, and you know, with you being able to rewind the video, you can revisit the parts that are relevant. Maybe in the future, I'll make an even more organized video that are more by chapter, I guess. But otherwise, thanks for watching. And if you end up playing, if you're already playing, I'll see you in the battlefield as we defend Helm's Deep, our king and our people.